This weekend could define Arsenal's entire season. The Gunners host Chelsea at the Emirates in a massive London derby, a match that could shape the Premier League title race and potentially Declan Rice's Ballon d'Or hopes. Arsenal sit 5 points clear at the top and are still competing on all four fronts, but is this the moment that truly proves they are champions? And if they do lift a major trophy, does Declan Rice deserve to be in serious contention for the Ballon d'Or? Today we break down the title race, the Rice debate, and why this game could change everything. Let's get into it.
Huge game at the weekend as Arsenal kick off potentially season-defining month against Chelsea at the Emirates. It's live on Sky Sports. Arsenal currently 5 points here at the top of the table, still in all four competitions, and Declan Rice admits he needs to win a big trophy if he's to have any chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. Rice was named in a 30-player long list for the award last season. He's been a key player for Mikel Arteta's side, and Arsenal's form this season has led to him being touted to win the prize this year. We want you to get involved in those conversations, but we can have a look at the quote that Rice said. He said, "You want to be involved in these conversations. You see the recent Ballon d'Or winners and what they've done during the season. Hopefully we can be successful and I can be in those conversations. That would be amazing." So Rice there acknowledging that they do need to win the major trophies for him to be in that. OK, well, get involved in that and let us know. But, Rob, if Arsenal do win the title or the Champions League, one of those big ones, does he deserve to win the Ballon d'Or?
I don't know about deserve to win the Ballon d'Or, but if you say, is Declan Rice a contender for the Ballon d'Or if he wins those trophies? I mean, you have to... you don't have to win the trophies. You have to show that you're a great player. For me, that's the number one. The Ballon d'Or was created in France years and years ago, and it was about who's the best player, not who won the trophies, not who won the Champions League, not who won their own league, and then who's in favour that year. And we go back, and the Ballon d'Or it wasn't even allowed out of Europe, for a winner out of Europe. So the Ballon d'Or now, for me, we should get back to the Ballon d'Or being about the best player. Is Declan Rice a great player? Absolutely. Do I see him in that top three in the world? No. I don't know about winning it.
Because when Dembele won it, it was probably because PSG was so successful, as opposed to he was the best player. Or do you think? But you're saying that it shouldn't matter, just doing an individual performance rather than lifting a trophy. And
I think there should be an accountability for it. Okay, did he play excellent? Did he make the biggest impact in his team? Did he make a biggest impact in the tournaments? Did he win the trophies as well? I think you have to go down the line for the trophies. And firstly, we have to judge it on the Ballon d'Or, which is the best player in that year. And for me, I even kind of look at last year, Dembele won it. Yes, of course, PSG, unbelievable. Dembele, great player. But I didn't think he was the best player last year to win it. So
who was? Who would you have had?
Out of all of Europe, I think the best player was Mo Salah. I mean, you just have to look at last year, look at the last season, and then compare. I think Vitinha in his own team was also amazing. And you look at Rafinha, Barcelona, Lamine Yamal, Mbappe even in that category. So there's now the instinct to just choose, if you win the Champions League, we'll pick one of those. It doesn't matter who. And I think we're forgetting the actual football with our eyes. Not the stats. We have to look at the game. Who's the best player? You know, in the semi-finals, in the rounds, in the finals, for his club, week to week. Who's the best player? That's who we have to pick. Not who's got the best stats. Not who this team won it, so we'll just pick one of them. Doesn't matter who. And I felt like sometimes the Ballon d'Or in the last few years has been picked in that way, and we have to get back to the joy of football. Who's unbelievable? Who do we just love watching because they're so good? Who's by far the best players in the world? Let's start with that, not who's the Champions League winner this year or who's the World Cup winner, and we just pick one of them. Sometimes we're a little bit lazy with that.
Well, it would help Rice if he can score more goals. He says he wants to add more goals. He cited Frank Lampard and Yaya Toure. He's only ever once scored more than 5 in one season. He got 7 in 2024. The type of midfielder he is, Does he need to add goals to his game? Is that important for that type of midfielder?
Yeah, I think, of course, when you are an instinctively defensive player, you don't really need to score the goals. Yes, you add impact and you add impact to your team and yeah, maybe some goals as well. For example, a centre-back, you don't expect them to win a Ballon d'Or with just goals. It adds to it and making an impact to your team or defensive midfielder. But I think we've seen now in the last few years, especially the last 3 years, teams not really having an automatic Makelele type player that is an out-and-out, Patrick Vieira's, Roy Keane's, those that they are a defensive midfielder, and that's their number one job. Everything else is a bonus. I think we're now starting to see midfielders like Declan Rice, where they're a hybrid. They're not a defensive midfielder. They're not an artistic attacking midfielder. They're this hybrid midfielder that is a central midfielder that does a little bit of everything. And I think he's had an unbelievable year. I've got to say, we talk about Ballon d'Or one side, but he's had an unbelievable year. And he's in his ways, he's kind of changing this midfield position where automatically people put him in this bracket of defense midfielder. He's not that. And this other bracket of, is he, okay, if he's not defensive, is he an attacking midfielder? Well, he's not that as well. He's not an Ødegaard, he's not an Eze, so he's not that either. He's this hybrid of just quality, reading the game. When his team is in danger and they're exposed and there's a transition counter-attack, he's the one who reads the game and almost with his pace and his tackling gets them out of a lot of trouble. It's why they're top of the league. He's a big impact on why Arsenal are top of the league and top of the Champions League.
And in terms of criticism of him, Paul Scholes says he's too emotional. What does he mean by that? And is it actually a bad thing, being too emotional? I mean, some of the most vocal captains were very emotional.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've had dressing rooms where the captain is the first one to, for example, you come in half-time and you're struggling or your team's not doing well, and captains come in and they're the most emotional ones because they feel the responsibility the most, and the vocal ones are the ones that come in and say, no, forget the manager of 1 second. This needs to happen, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. So I don't think he's too emotional at all. I actually think he's quite composed with it. I think he throws his hands up and all those things, but there's a composure about Declan Rice. That's what I see. Underneath, I think he is very composed. I think that's why he plays so well.
Do you see him as a future captain? I mean, I know you're Welsh, but do you see him as a future England captain?
Oh, yeah.
Harry Kane. I mean, there are others who could be there, but could he be the England captain?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. The way he plays, the way he is. And I think what I love about Declan Rice, and this is somebody who I think he's grown on me more and more since he's moved to Arsenal. He is now one of the leaders, and he takes accountability. And I think that's what you want from a captain. Accountability, not just in shouting and raising your arms and all of these things. Accountability in making an impact in your team, defensively, attacking, whether he's assisting sometimes, but also how vocal he is and how composed he is and how much he takes away the dangers of the other team just under the radar without, in his contribution and defensively, 1v1s. He's so excellent at that. I love what he's doing there. So I think he's a future captain for England, absolutely.
Right, let's get the fans.
A potentially season-defining month begins for Arsenal this weekend as they host fierce London rivals Chelsea at the Emirates Stadium, live on Sky Sports. Mikel Arteta's side sit 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League table and remain in contention across all 4 competitions, fueling belief that this could finally be the campaign in which silverware returns to North London. Yet beyond the immediate focus on the title race, a wider debate has emerged, one centered on Declan Rice and his growing Ballon d'Or credentials. Rice, trophies key to Ballon d'Or dream. Rice, who was included in last season's 30-man long list for the Ballon d'Or, has openly admitted that winning a major trophy is essential if he is to enter the conversation for football's most prestigious individual prize. "You want to be involved in these conversations," Rice said. "You see the recent Ballon d'Or winners and what they've done during the season. Hopefully we can be successful and I can be in those conversations. That would be amazing." His comments reflect the modern perception that team success heavily influences the award, a point that continues to divide opinion among pundits and supporters alike. Should trophies define the best player? The debate has intensified in light of previous winners. Some argue that the Ballon d'Or was originally conceived to honor the best individual performer, not simply a standout player from the most successful team. Recent winners such as Ousmane Dembélé and Rodri have reignited that discussion. Critics suggest that team achievements, including domestic titles and Champions League triumphs, have sometimes outweighed pure individual brilliance. Names such as Mohamed Salah have been cited as examples of players whose individual consistency arguably warranted greater recognition, regardless of team honors. The broader question remains, should the award prioritize statistics and medals, or the eye test? The player who most influences matches week in, week out? The evolution of Declan Rice. What is beyond dispute is Rice's importance to Arsenal's rise. Since his move to North London, he has evolved from a traditional defensive midfielder into a complete, hybrid presence, capable of breaking up play, driving forward, and increasingly contributing in decisive moments. He has spoken of his desire to add more goals to his game, citing midfield greats such as Frank Lampard and Yaya Toure as inspirations. While he has only once surpassed 5 goals in a single season, netting 7 in 2024, his overall influence extends far beyond statistics. Rice's ability to read transitions, halt counterattacks, and impose authority in high-pressure fixtures has been central to Arsenal's domestic and European form. Many now view him not merely as a defensive shield, but as a modern central midfielder redefining the role. Leadership and emotion. Former England midfielder Paul Scholes recently suggested Rice can be too emotional on the pitch, a claim that has sparked further debate. However, others argue that visible passion is a hallmark of leadership rather than a flaw. Within the Arsenal dressing room, Rice is widely regarded as a leader in all but name. His accountability, vocal presence, and composure under pressure have strengthened calls for him to become a future England captain. A defining weekend. Sunday's clash with Chelsea could prove pivotal, not only in the title race but in shaping narratives around Rice's individual season. Arsenal's response to recent pressure, particularly in high-stakes fixtures, has reinforced belief that this side possesses both maturity and resilience. With the Premier League summit within their grasp and European ambitions still alive, Arsenal's season stands delicately poised. Should Arteta's men convert promise into silverware, the conversation surrounding Rice and the Ballon d'Or will only grow louder. For now, however, all focus turns to the Emirates, where a defining chapter of Arsenal's campaign is set to unfold.